Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we will discuss a very interesting topic, that is gene cloning or genetic engineering, or it is also known as recombinant DNA technology. Okay, it is a very interesting topic of biotechnology. Okay, and what happens here, how the gene is cloned actually, and how the recombinant DNA is produced, and this recombinant DNA, what is the use of this recombinant DNA, why this is produced, and what are the tools or requirements for the production of recombinant DNA, and what are the processes or steps. Detailedly we will discuss all these things in this topic. Okay, so come to the class. Gene cloning or RNA technology or genetic engineering, it is known as. Okay, what exactly it is? What is gene cloning? Gene means a foreign desired gene. It is ligated with any of the vectors. Vectors may be the plasmid, cosmid, or bacterial artificial chromosome BAC, or yeast artificial chromosome YAC. All these different types of vectors are available. Vectors means they are carriers of this desired gene, and they can easily multiply inside the host organism. So there are two organisms involved in this process: the source organism from which the desired gene is extracted, and the host organism in which the desired gene is inserted with the recombinant plasmid. Okay, mostly plasmids are the vectors which are used in case of gene cloning procedure. Okay, so let's discuss all the requirements, tools, and the steps. So see first the tools or requirements of gene cloning. First one is source organism. Source organism may be any plant, may be animal, may be a virus, may be a bacteria, may be any fungi, all these things. And depending upon the source organism, different types of DNA extraction enzymes are also utilized. Supposed to be it is a plant, the source organism is a plant, means in case of plant, cellulose is present in the cell wall. So to break the cell wall, we can use the enzyme cellulase. Okay, and if in case of fungi, then we have to utilize the enzyme chitinase to break the cell wall. If in case of bacteria, supposed to be the source organism is also a bacteria, then we can utilize the enzyme lysozyme to break the cell wall of bacteria. And depending upon the source organism, different types of enzymes are utilized to break the cell wall, to get the extract of the cellular extract, and after getting the cellular extract also to purify the DNA, different types of enzymes are also needed. Okay, so first organism is source, and second the DNA extraction enzymes. See, when the cellular extract it is collected, it is extracted, then from this cellular extract we have to easily extract the DNA only. The DNA contains the desired gene. Okay, the gene which is needed to be manipulated, ligated into a plasmid to make the recombinant plasmid or to make the recombinant DNA. Okay, so the second is DNA extraction enzymes. See, in the cellular extract, in the cellular solution, in this solution, all the cell sap must be there from the source organism cell, and it must be containing all the molecules of the cell. Supposed to be it must be containing the protein, it must be containing the RNA, all the carbohydrates which are present, which are the cellular components of the cytoplasm. Okay, so different types of enzymes like RNase to degrade the RNA, proteinase to degrade the protein, supposed to be carbohydrates, then also different types of digesting enzymes for the carbohydrate, amylase, like that they are added. And then the DNA, it is extracted by adding the chilled ethanol to the cellular extract, so that the DNA can remain in the supernatant and easily it can be spooled out. Okay, so different types of DNA extraction enzymes means in the cellular extract we can utilize the RNase, proteinase, then different types of enzymes to degrade all the cellular components except DNA, and we have to add chilled ethanol, so that the DNA can remain in the supernatant and easily can be spooled out. Okay, so this is the DNA extraction enzyme, the second tool. And third is restriction endonucleases. What are these restriction endonucleases? These restriction endonucleases, as per the name itself, endonuclease means it cleaves the DNA from the interior sides, or inside of the DNA is cleaved. But these are restriction endonucleases, means they cleave the DNA in the particular specific target sites only. These restriction endonucleases are of also 4 different types, and out of that, type 2 restriction endonucleases, or these are also known as molecular seizures. These are utilized in case of gene cloning. Why? Because this type of enzymes, this type 2 restriction endonuclease, it doesn't need any of the different types of components, it only needs Mg++ ion for its activity. Okay, and so type 2 restriction endonuclease are mostly utilized for this process. And what is the role of this restriction endonuclease? It will cleave the source DNA to get the desired fragments, and from the fragments we have to isolate the particular fragment of DNA having the desired gene. That particular fragment of DNA is only needed by us. Rest of the DNA it is not useful for us. Okay, so we have to utilize the restriction endonuclease to get the desired gene, the piece of the DNA having the desired gene from the source organism. And restriction endonuclease is also, it is needed to cleave the plasmid, means any of the vector which is utilized, so that we can ligate both of these DNA desired gene along with the restricted plasmid or cut plasmid to get the recombinant plasmid. Okay, so this is all about the restriction endonucleases. Then fourth one, it is Taq polymerase. In the previous class I have also told you that Taq polymerase, it is extracted from the Thermus aquaticus bacteria, and it is a thermostable enzyme. It is a DNA polymerase, and it is utilized in case of PCR, polymerase chain reaction. Okay, so this Taq polymerase, it is also utilized when the desired gene it is extracted, the fragment of the DNA having the desired gene it is extracted after gel electrophoresis. Then this desired gene it is multiplied, means million number of copies of the desired gene can be made within a very short period of time by utilizing the PCR technology. And for PCR we need this enzyme, that is Taq polymerase. Okay, and then the next is vectors. Just I have also told you vectors. Vectors means these are the carriers, and mostly plasmid, cosmid, BAC and YAC, these are the mostly utilized vectors, and very commonly use the plasmid because these are having user friendly, and the plasmids, they contain origin of replication, they contain MCS, that is multiple cloning site, and this multiple cloning site it contains different restriction endonucleases. It means its particular sequences or target sequences are present in the multiple cloning site, and these plasmids, they are also having antibiotic resistant markers. This is very much helpful to isolate the bacterial cells with the recombinant plasmids and not with the recombinant plasmids. Means easily we can screen out the recombinant bacteria from the non-recombinant bacteria, transformed bacteria from the non-transformed bacteria. Okay, so this is useful, this plasmid is useful for screening and isolation. The fifth step, we will discuss the steps also. So the vectors, mostly plasmid is utilized in case of gene cloning, because this is very smaller, it can be easily manipulated, and it can easily manipulated to make the recombinant plasmid, and it can easily be also transformed into the bacteria so that it can be multiplied inside the bacteria, and the bacteria also can be cultured easily. So plasmids are mostly utilized. And ligase. Ligase is the enzyme which joins or ligates the restricted plasmid vector along with the desired gene extracted from the source. Ligase enzyme, it causes a 3' 5' phosphodiester linkage between these two to form the recombinant plasmid. Okay, then host organism. What is the host organism here? Host organism is mostly the bacteria, because if we have utilized the plasmid, we have to extract the plasmid from the host, as we have to extract the desired gene having the DNA desired gene from the source organism. Similarly, from the host organism the plasmids are extracted, and these plasmids are made recombinant by adding the desired gene, and these plasmids are again inserted into the same host from the, and mostly E. coli bacteria which are human friendly, these bacteria are taken as the host here. Okay, so in this process two different organisms are there, that is first is source organism from which the desired gene is extracted, and the host organism into which the recombinant DNA or recombinant plasmid it is inserted, that is called transformation. Okay, so different steps. So these are the tools and requirements. Come to the different steps of process of genetic engineering. Actually what is there? There is engineering of the gene, means we have to extract, we have to remove out the desired gene from one DNA, and we have to ligate the gene with a plasmid, a carrier or vector. So there is engineering of the gene. So it is known as also genetic engineering or gene cloning technique. Okay, and as we are making the recombinant DNA, so it is also known as recombinant DNA technology. Okay, so come to the process of step. See, first one is isolation of genetic material, that is having the desired gene and the plasmid. See, simultaneously we have to extract, we have to isolate the desired gene from the source organism and the plasmid or the carrier from the host organism. Okay, from source the DNA is extracted, from host the plasmid is extracted. This is the first step, that is isolation of both. Okay, then what is done? By using the second step is restriction digestion by RE. RE is the restriction endonuclease. So by using any of the specific restriction endonuclease, we have to restrict, digest, or we have to cut both the desired DNA with the desired gene and the plasmid both are cut by a single specific restriction endonuclease, so that this restriction endonuclease will cut in the specific target sites in both of the cases, and there will be also staggered sites or hanging ends. What about these hanging ends? See what is there. These type 2 restriction endonucleases also are of two different types. That is, they are, some of them, they are producing the blunt cuts, means they cut the DNA in a particular site, and they are not producing any staggered or hanging sites. These hanging sites should be there, so that there will be easy ligation. Supposed to be the DNA, DNA is having two strands, 3' to 5' and 5' to 3' running strands. Okay. Similarly, the plasmid is also a, what is plasmid? Plasmid is the extra chromosomal circular DNA. It is the extra chromosomal circular DNA which is present inside the bacteria, the plasmid. Okay, and it is also having double stranded. It is also double stranded. So the plasmid is also cut by the same, and the DNA is also cut by the same restriction endonuclease, so that it will produce the staggered ends with the staggered sites or hanging ends, so that it can be easily ligated. Okay, so by using a specific restriction endonuclease, the second step is restriction digestion of both. Means both means what? The desired gene from the source, means the DNA having the desired gene, and the plasmid from the host. These are cut. Then third step is ligation of the both. Ligation of the both, so that we can get the recombinant plasmid with the desired gene. So ligation is done by the enzyme ligase. And how it ligates? It causes the 3', 5' phosphodiester linkage between the and the terminal nucleotide of the DNA fragment having the desired gene and the plasmid, staggered plasmid, means the cut plasmid. So means the hanging sites there will be hanging sites by the restriction endonuclease cleavage, and then after there will be ligation with the ligase enzyme, so that the hanging ends will form the 3', 5' phosphodiester linkage, and there will be a complete plasmid with the desired gene inserted. And this plasmid is now modified. It is now known as recombinant plasmid because it has taken the foreign DNA into it, and it is known as recombinant plasmid. Okay. So this is the restriction digestion. Then third step is ligation, and fourth is transformation. What is transformation? Transformation, also I have also told you this in the previous classes, that transformation is normally naturally occurring in case of bacterial cells, and the bacteria is able to intake any of the foreign DNA present in the solution where it is growing. Okay, and the competent cells of the bacteria also can be made by transformation. During transformation, how competent cells and what are competent cells they are made? See, competent, normally naturally the bacteria can intake any of the foreign DNA from the solution where it is growing, and we can make the bacterial cells also competent. How can we have to just add calcium plus ions in the bacterial solution, in the host bacterial solution, and we have to do our temperature fluctuation of 0 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, so that there will be pore formation or perforation in the cell wall of bacteria, so that easily it can intake the recombinant plasmids what we will add, okay, in the transformation procedure. And these recombinant plasmids will be easily intaken by the bacteria, so that the recombinant plasmid along with the desired gene can multiply inside the bacteria. That is our need. Okay, so this is transformation. Transformation is the process of intake of desired plasmid, means plasmid with the desired gene, recombinant plasmid, into the bacterial cell. This is transformation. Then fifth is screening and isolation. What is this screening and isolation? See, when we'll add the recombinant plasmid to the bacterial solution, then some of the bacterial solution, some of the bacteria, they will intake the recombinant plasmid, means the plasmid along with the desired gene, and some of the bacteria will take the normal plasmid. There must be normal plasmids which only ligate without the desired gene. These are normal plasmids. So some of the bacteria, they will take the recombinant plasmid, some of the bacteria, they will take the normal plasmids. So we need the bacteria with the recombinant plasmids only, because in the recombinant plasmid there will be the desired gene. Okay, desired gene which we need to be multiplied. Okay, so this is called the screening and isolation step. We have to separate out the recombinant transformed bacteria from the non-recombinant transformed bacteria. Okay, and this is done by two methods. Very easy methods are there. First is Poisson agar plate, and second is insertional inactivation. Okay, so this means supposed to be, I have also told you that plasmids are having the antibiotic resistant markers. Means the bacteria having that plasmid will be resistant to a particular antibiotic. This antibiotic may be ampicillin, maybe tetracycline, maybe chloramphenicol, or maybe kanamycin. Different types of antibiotic resistant genes are present in the plasmid itself. And if the plasmid is intaken by the bacteria, then the bacteria will be resistant to that particular antibiotic. So we can prepare the poisonous agar plate. What is the poisonous agar plate? Agar plate, it is the growth medium for the bacteria, and we can take the bacterial solution having both the transformed non-recombinants and recombinant bacteria into the growth plate, and we have to, before we have to add the any of the antibiotic which is there in the antibiotic resistant marker of the plasmid, so that the bacteria, the transformed bacteria will only grow and the non-transformed bacteria will not grow in that plate. Okay, so easily we can isolate the transformed bacteria from the non-transformed bacteria, means bacteria with the plasmid or bacteria without plasmid. And another method is insertional inactivation. This is poisonous agar plate. Second is insertional inactivation. What is insertional inactivation? In this case, what is there? In the multiple cloning site of the plasmid, LAG-Z gene is inserted. These are seen in case of constructed plasmids. Okay, so in case of constructed plasmids, this LAG-Z gene is found in case of E. coli for utilizing the lactose. Okay, and in that LAG-Z gene site, there must be the restriction endonuclease recognition site, so that if there will be a cut in that LAG-Z gene sequence, in the LAG-Z gene sequence, and there will be intake of the desired gene into that, then the LAG-Z gene is deserted. And such type of recombinant plasmid, if it is intaken by the bacteria, then the bacteria will not utilize the lactose because LAG-Z gene is deserted because of the presence of the desired gene in it. Okay, so such type of bacteria are recombinant transformed bacteria which can't utilize the lactose from the growth plate, and such type of bacteria will appear white. And the transformed non-recombinant bacteria, means maybe taking the plasmid, but the plasmid is not having the desired gene. Such type of bacteria will show blue colonies. Okay, so white blue colonies will be there in the agar plate. Okay, so this is called insertional inactivation. Why? Because due to insertion of the desired gene, the LAG-Z gene is inactivated, present in the multiple cloning site. Okay, of the back of the plasmid. Okay, so these are two steps for screening and isolation of the recombinant transformed bacteria from the non-recombinant transformed bacteria. So, and we have to proceed forward with the recombinant transformed bacteria, in which the plasmids are there with the desired gene, and these plasmids will automatically multiply inside the bacteria and will be also carried to the progeny bacteria. So in the bacterial solution, automatically the desired gene will be multiplied. Okay, so all these things let's discuss in a very detail from the diagram. Diagrammatic representation is there for the gene cloning procedure. See, first source organism, then the host organism. Just I have told you the first step is isolation of genetic material, having the desired gene from the source and plasmid from the host. Okay, so the first step is isolation, step 1. So from the source organism, it may be any plant, animal, bacteria, virus or fungi. From the source organism, the DNA with the desired gene, it is extracted by utilizing different types of enzymes. And from the host organism itself is the bacteria mostly utilized in case of gene cloning, and this host organism from the bacteria, the plasmids are extracted by plasmid isolation protocol. Okay, so first step is over, isolation of the DNA with the desired gene and the plasmid. So first step is over. Then second step is restriction digestion. This is the second step, which is very much crucial. We have to utilize a particular restriction endonuclease which will produce the staggered sites with hanging ends, so that easily can be ligated. Okay, with the plasmid can be easily ligated with the desired gene. Okay, so a specific restriction endonuclease, a single specific restriction endonuclease is utilized in both of the cases to digest this DNA with the desired gene, means to cut the DNA with the desired gene and the plasmid. Okay, so that the DNA with the desired gene, it is cut into different fragments. These are the restricted DNA fragments by application of the particular restriction endonuclease. And this is the restricted plasmid. After the step 2 is over, these are two different types of solutions available with us. Okay, in this solution there will be restricted DNA fragments, and in this solution the restricted plasmid will be there with the cut end, means the restriction endonuclease will also cut the plasmid, because the same recognition site of the specific restriction endonuclease must be there in the plasmid also. Okay, then after, see, all these fragments of DNA from the source organism are not needed by us. So which DNA fragment is needed by us? The DNA fragment with the specific desired gene. Okay, the gene which we need to proceed forward. Okay, so this, how to separate the DNA fragments. One of the technique is there, that is called gel electrophoresis. For gel electrophoresis, mostly to separate the DNA fragments, agarose gel is utilized. Agarose powders are commercially available, and these are melted by what? By boiling the water, and this agarose gel, it is poured in the gel plate, and there will be agarose gel electrophoresis. By this electrophoresis technique, the DNA fragments can be easily separated basing upon their size and molecular weight. Okay, so different DNA fragments, they can be separated in the gel electrophoresis. These DNA fragments, they can be easily separated by the gel electrophoresis. As DNA are negatively charged, so they will move toward the positively charged electrode. Okay, so this is gel electrophoresis. I will also teach this gel electrophoresis in any of the classes if any doubt is there with you. Then, so by gel electrophoresis, different fragments of DNA, they can be easily separated out. And after these fragments are separated, we have to find out the particular DNA sequence with the desired gene. And how it is done? By utilizing any of the molecular markers. Supposed to be, we know that desired gene sequence, what is the number of nucleotides present in the desired gene, we must be knowing also that. And depending upon the molecular marker, we have to find out that particular DNA fragment having the desired gene in the gel, in the agarose gel. And by gel elution protocol is there. Kits are available for gel elution, and by utilizing this gel elution protocol, we have to extract that DNA from the agarose gel, that DNA fragment with the desired gene from the agarose gel. Okay, so after restriction diation, with all these fragments, they are separated by gel electrophoresis. Then there will be gel elution protocol to separate the desired gene, the fragment of DNA having the desired gene. Now desired gene is available with us, and this desired gene may be in a very small number also, and it is amplified by PCR, polymerase chain reaction. Now this desired gene, it is present in a vast amount with us, and this desired gene can be ligated with the restricted plasmids, and this is the third step, that is ligation. Step 3. Step 1 is isolation, second is restriction digestion, third is ligation of the both. The cut or linearized plasmid, this plasmid is now linearized. This linearized plasmid, it is linked, it is ligated with the desired gene fragment of the DNA. Okay, and after ligation, this is the recombinant plasmid what we have got. This recombinant plasmid, it is having the desired gene here. This recombinant plasmid, and the step 4, these are transformed into bacteria, the host from which the plasmid is extracted. Supposed to be from E. coli, we have extracted the plasmid. We must be utilizing the host here, the E. coli only, so that this plasmid can easily multiply inside the bacteria. Okay, so this, in the fourth step, transformation, this recombinant plasmid, these are transformed into the bacteria to the bacterial solution. This recombinant plasmid solution is mixed, and there will be competent cell preparation also by calcium plus iron adding, and by temperature fluctuation there will be perforation in the bacterial cell wall, so easily they can take the recombinant plasmid from the solution. And all these bacteria are must not be having the recombinant plasmids. Okay, some of the bacteria, they must be having only the plasmid without the desired gene. So this fifth step is screening and isolation of the recombinants. So screening and isolation means we have to prepare poisonous agar plate depending upon the antibiotic resistant marker gene present in the plasmid. And also we can utilize the second step, that is insertional inactivation. Okay, so by blue white screening or by poisonous agar plate preparation, we can separate out the recombinant transformed bacteria from the non-recombinants, and these recombinant transferred bacteria can be maintained by a pure culture, so that these plasmids with the desired gene can easily multiply and can be transformed into the progeny bacteria. Okay, so this is all about the gene cloning or genetic engineering or recombinant DNA technology in a very brief. Okay, so these are the requirements and these are the steps of the genetic engineering. Thank you for watching, and share and subscribe my channel for the upcoming videos. Thank you.